Hello everyone, this is LeonStarcraft here, going to be finally bringing you another VOD here, replay, and it is going to be between SeleCT, who is the blue Terran over here in the bottom left hand corner on Shakuras plateau. He is going to be versus Lalush, and he's from Millennium Gaming, so he is a top Zerg player as well. Obviously he must be if he's playing up against SeleCT. I gotta be very honest and say that I don't know too much about him her or their playstyle, so this is going to be very interesting to see how this game ends up going. As we do see, Lalush is at the top right hand corner here on Shakuras as the red Zerg, and I did get this game from se2rep.com. I fancied to do a game with SeleCT, so I just typed in SeleCT in the search bar and boom, I have a game with SeleCT. So here we are. It is going to be, wow, it's like a little bit supply broke there early on, but nothing too serious. But yeah, so finally going to be bringing you a video. Hopefully this all goes through on YouTube. This is going to be my first test using the new setup here. If it all goes well, I'll bring you guys a lot more footage in the future. But in this game anyway, it looks like SeleCT is opening 2 racks, which is very common. Not so much on this map, especially cross positions, because it's such a far distance for your Marines to run, but it can be very useful, can be very effective, especially if you just expand straight behind it, which it looks like it could be the intentions of SeleCT to do so, because he is walling off at the bottom ramp rather than his main, which means that he is now free to grab that expansion anytime he wants. But this drone did scout exactly what was up, and he's going to run back home and tell his friends and family and the mayor of Zergville exactly what's up. So this hatchery has been down for some while. It is a hatch first build, as the spawning pool is on its way right now. It's just under halfway ready. This SCP is quickly patrolling around, seeing what is going on. I don't think he's actually scouted his opponent yet. No, he was. That was the first scout in SCP. So he was just blindly doing 2 racks regardless of what his opponent was doing. Did not scout first or anything like that. So he knows that his opponent is in this high location right now. So here comes the initial Marine. There is SCV with him, and there's also an SCV in the forward location. As we can see, a bunker is starting to be placed on the low ground. And Lalush responds by placing a spine crawler by the hatchery. So SeleCT is going to try and just pick off this spine crawler before it can be completed. There's another spine crawler being placed down as well. A second bunker being placed by SeleCT, but a ton of Zerglings come out, so this is going to be scared off. This bunker on the low ground will be completed, so these Marines can just now jump in there, maybe pick off the Zergling. All the Zerglings do get away. So he's going to try and put some bunkers on the high ground, maybe just next to this geyser here. Yep, that's exactly what he's going to do. Oh, the creep just spreading at the right time there. I'm going to stop him from being able to place that bunker down, but he does get it done eventually. The spine crawler has now just getting up, but this bunker is not close enough to save this SAV or this bunker, so he's going to have to cancel this bunker if he knows what's good for him. And he did cancel it just in time. Here comes the Marines trying to catch that spine crawler in position, but the Zerglings are going to get there in time. He may just pick up a few Zerglings. Will he get that one Marine? One Marine does go down, but he gets units in that bunker, but he does not have vision of the high ground, so he's going to have to retreat home. Probably he's going to have to salvage that bunker as well. No, he's just going to go for it. He's going to get vision of the high ground by placing that one Marine up there. May take down the spine crawler, but no, he loses vision, and these Marines are going to have to get out of there. Will he salvage it just in time? And oh yeah, I think he did. So I think he saved the money off there. SeleCT doing a very good job retreating his units now. As you can see, there's some Zerglings on the field. Lalush needs to micro these probably, because he could end up losing every single one of these Zerglings, because there are a few more Marines being rallied into the middle of the map in order just to gain a little bit of map control for our Terran friend SeleCT. As you can see, he's still producing Marines off these 2 barracks. He's now getting his gas at the same time as his main, and also is getting that command center as well. So doing a very good job. SeleCT kept his opponent, made his opponent make Zerglings rather than drones, which is not what a Zerg wants to do. They want to be able to drone for as long as they can, but he was forced to make drones and spine crawlers at an inopportune time. But regardless of that, the Zerg is still ahead of Harvesters, 4 Harvesters ahead overall. But you got to remember, Terran does also have mules, which will propel his economy. So here comes a second wave of Marines. However, there's 2 spine crawlers here and a queen and a ton of Zerglings making their way down. So these Marines are not going to be able to do anything if Yeah, they're just going to back up straight away. May be able to pick up some Zerglings if Lalush is not careful, but he does retreat them instantly, which is a very smart idea. Engineering Bay coming up now, immediately level 1 weapons for the infantry being researched. So early upgrades for Select, which I think is an absolute necessity in TvZ. You gotta make sure you keep your upgrades absolutely pivotal. It's just so important, because Zerg can just overwhelm you with numbers, so you have to make sure you've got upgrades in order to equal that out a little bit. So Select now getting a factory in his main. It'll be interesting to see what he gets on the end of this. He's just going to lift it off, and he's going to float it over here so he can get a reactor on. But he is placing it next to where Starport would be created, so I expect them two to swap over momentarily. In Camp Lalush, we do have a baneling nest being created, and we did see that a lair tech had also been started at the expansion rather than the main, which is I guess it's preferencing to have the lair down here rather than the main. Maybe it was in case a scan went off in this location here, he would not see that there was a lair upgraded yet. Right now we have a bit of quiet time. We have Zerg with a bit of map control. As I said before, the starport is going to be lifting off. Going to be waiting for this factory to finish, and he is going to swap with that indeed. But Terran has 700 minerals. I mean, Select has quite a lot of minerals. He's getting a lot of marines, and his opponent is getting baneling, so that could be a little problematic for him right there. But right now he's feeling safe. You know, he's staying in his base. He expanded to his natural. He's on the same amount of bases as the Zerg, although Lalush just placed down a third hatchery there. So Select is going to be feeling rather safe at the moment. I mean, if a Terran's on the same amount of bases as Zerg, the Terran always is in the advantage. So right now he's feeling relatively safe. But here come some marine drops, as we can see, the medvacs that were able to be dual pumped out of that starport with the reactor. They are going to be carrying them marines out of there. But did that overlord see that? That's quite an interesting one. And wow, he does see that. That overlord, very nice placement on there, just sitting next to the rocks, does see exactly what's going on now. He is starting to morph in banelings right now, and is getting these Zergs in position, so he is reacting to it. He did notice it, and it's going to be interesting, because if these marines do drop, which they do, he could be completely taken out by every single baneling here. So Select has to be really careful of how he controls this and make sure that his multitasking is up to par, because here comes these Zerglings. Is he going to be able to run straight into them? He does stim up. He is going to take out a lot of Zerglings and automatically loads them into the medvac before the banelings do get in on the action. So you need to try and drop these safely so they'll be able to get healed but not attacked. So that's what he's going to do. He's going to drop some units and do a little bit of damage, but he's going to have to immediately pick them back up again. Ooh, loses about 4 marines there. And he's just going to continue to just keep doing this, just to try and micro and just kill off as many units as he can while keeping as many alive. And doing a very good job here, Select. Just keeping his opponent busy over here. We do see the third for Lalush does go up and is complete in the main. We do see a Spire, and the air attack is being upgraded as well. These medvacs do get sick of the dancing around, and they do go further inland. However, they may take out this overlord. There's an overlord here, kind of out of position. So he's going to go in there, stem up, try and take it out. These banelings are actually burrowed here, so if he jumps up at the right time, he can take them all out. He does. 2 managed to survive. He's going to have to pick them up and take them out of there. The two survivors of that onslaught are going to be able to live the memories of their fallen mates. So here goes Select with another drop here, but at the north position, and I think there's... yeah, Lalush is probably going to definitely see this. Oh wow, yep, there he does just get a glimpse of it there, but he was in a nice little sweet spot there. If he was any higher or any lower, the Zelnaga would have seen it, or the Overlord, so there might have been just enough time for Select just to sneak through there without his opponent noticing it. So he stims up range, going to go straight for the worker line, going to take out a ton of workers. He does see the infestation pit and he sees the Spire, so he knows exactly what's going on, but he's just going to go straight for workers. He's going to micro this nicely and go straight back into the medevac and get out of there. A 4th base for Lalush has been placed down. Select in the main is getting siege tanks. He has got siege tech with them. He is getting missile turrets and both mineral lines. Only getting 1 at the mineral lines. Vita has 1 next to his production facilities. Very nice placement of them buildings right there. Has again started to do some little drop harass with these dropship and these marines. So here comes a ton of mutas. He needs to stem up these Marines to do as much damage as he can before he loses them, but forgets to stem. So all of them mutas going down. I don't think a single muta actually went down there. But we do have a third for Select on the way. Looks like he's going to place it down here in the middle, in the Tasteless Hallways, a lot of people like to refer to as. But I'm not too sure. We don't see this expansion point taken quite often enough. But it looks like it's a risk that Select wants to take. And the smiley face expansion, as you can see, 2 eyes, a nose, and the smiley face. So we do have some banelings just on the high ground here in Burrows. We could do a lot of damage with these banelings again against these Marines. Stim some Marines to try and take out these medvacs. A lot of SCVs may go down. Take out these mutants. Sorry, a lot of these SCVs do go down. That medvac does go down. So nice mutant harass from Lalush there, but these Marines do scare them out there. And he's attacking these destructible rocks. So he has made his intentions clear that he does want to expand horizontally rather than vertically. But Lalush reads exactly what's going on, has some banelings and zerglings in position, also has these banelings in a burrowed position. These mutants doing some more harass as well. When this turret goes up, oh, it doesn't go up and it gets taken out right at the last second. One turret does go up though, and these Marines are dragged back to try and do as much damage as they can. Now, these mutants are just sitting over the production facilities. This is the problem for a lot of Terrans. Wow, we just scan and take out them banelings that were burrows. So very nice game awareness by Select. Realised his opponent had burrowed banelings before, not going to fall for the same trap twice. Very nice that he's sieging up some tanks on the high ground and the low ground. Going to get a nice spread of siege tanks because there are a lot of banelings there. Some banelings just running into that siege tank. Not the smartest idea, but here comes a lot of Marines to try and fight the cause. And look, very nice split on the Marines, as we can see. Going to take out a lot of units, but they are infested here. If you get some fungal growth down, which would be absolutely pivotal, going to be able to take out so many banelings. Tank taking out so many units. It's taken out 8 already. We need a fungal growth on them Marines for the Zerg. There it goes. Going to be able to take out them Marines quite convincingly. But there's so many Marines here for Select. He could just target fire the infestors and they could go down. Here come the mutants to try and help clean it up. And there's a lot of mutants here, so he's got to get these Marines and a prime place. So many banelings coming up, but there's quite a few amount of tanks left that could potentially take them out. But he's going to have to back up these siege tanks, which actually will not survive. They will be taken out before they can return home. At the same time, Select is starting to rally over some more siege tanks, some more Marines. He's made, in his expansion, wow, he has a lot of energy on these orbital commands. Probably maybe saving up for some scans. But here comes a nice attack from Lalush. Going to be able to dive in and out. Going to try and pick off some banelings with his Marines. And he does back up, not going to overcommit. Made this third base of Select into a planetary fortress. Going to be able to call down a bajillion mules. That's right, bajillion is actually a number. Them Marines losing their life, they just felt pretty crazy. They were stoned off their face and got mauled. So these mutalisks making their way across the map again, just establishing a little bit of map control. Gonna go try and do a little bit of harass. If you've got the extra APM, you may as well do it. It could win you the game, just a little bit of harass here or there, especially if you cause your opponent to move his army out of position or focus his attention elsewhere. So wow, there's a lot of mutants on the field for Lalush right now. Let's have a quick look at the units tab. We do see that there are 28 mutalisks. That's quite a number of mutalisks right there. Yeah, 17 banelings, 46 zerglings, and 72 drones. So as you can see, he has gone for very much a mutalist heavy composition, and that's what most Zergs seem to go for these days, just to get a lot of mutalisks. We saw, I believe it was Moon in the Intel Extreme Masters. He went for a very similar style, just got so many mutalisks it was hard for any of his opponents to actually deal with. Ended up doing very well in the tournament, finishing second, I believe.